Hey guys, it's Phil from smilinggardener.com, and I'm away from my garden for the next month or so, so I was kind of playing around on my computer here and thinking about some organic vegetable garden design ideas, and I kind of thought of 3 ideas I want to share with you that I'm going to show you. If you haven't picked up the 15 vital lessons for becoming a better organic gardener, you can do that at smilinggardener.com right on the main page. So let's get into these organic vegetable garden design ideas here. My first organic vegetable garden design tip is to remember beauty when you're designing a vegetable garden. I know a lot of times, right here I am at Google Images, and I searched for vegetable garden, and you can see here there are a lot of square or rectangular, basically all of these are very straight rows, square rectangular gardens, and that's fine. There are advantages of that. You know, there are it's easier to water when it's a square, it's easier to measure square footage and things like that, and actually up here's a really beautiful one that uses squares. So it's not all bad, but I just want you to remember that it doesn't always have to be a perfect square. If I go back down, if I go to I have a drawing here, and basically this is the garden, the site that I put in my garden this year. Here's the house, here's the patio, north is up, and there are a couple of existing gardens here. And you know, it's a nice sunny spot out here. So I'll be very tempted to, you know, the usual way would be to put in a rectangular garden or a square, or you know, maybe you do a series of raised beds or something that are rectangular. And again, there's no problem with that. But I just want to show you that you can, you know, you can think outside the box a little bit and try to make something that looks beautiful too. Not that square and formal isn't beautiful, but you can do something a little bit more organic looking. So I could instead, you know, I could instead just draw something like this that's more of an organic, curvy, nice shape, you know, and I could have a path in there and draw something like that. And that's kind of what I've done this year, is done some more organic kind of shapes. So that's my first tip, is just remember beauty. The other thing about that is it doesn't always have to be just vegetables in your vegetable garden. You can put flowers in there, you know, even shrubs, all kinds of cool stuff. So that's my first tip, is beauty. The second one, which is kind of along the same lines, but it's more about function, and that's about proximity to the house. You know, this is a really sunny spot out here, so it would be easy for me to put my vegetable garden out there. You know, a vegetable garden often gets thrown back into a back corner of the property because it's thought of as an eyesore. But what I really like to do is bring it up to the house. And if you ever study permaculture, one of the first things you learn is to try to get your vegetable garden and your food garden as close to the kitchen door as possible, so that you can, you know, right from the kitchen, head out there daily to harvest your herbs and vegetables and do any other tasks that are needed, instead of having to head to some back corner of your property. You know, it's not as big of a deal if you have a little 1/8 of an acre lot or something like that, but it's still something to think about. So here's what I did this year. Here's my patio. I had existing gardens here, here, and here that didn't have much in them. They're more ornamental gardens. And what I did is I brought in a shape that you've maybe kind of seen little bits of if you've watched my other videos, that looks something like this. And you know, I can really take out these existing gardens here. And so first of all, I brought in a nice, going back to point number 1, a nice curvy kind of shape that looks really nice, fits in with the existing landscape. And my kitchen door is right here. So I will have some patio pots here with herbs in them, and I've planted herbs right here and right here. So I can just wander out there in my bare feet and get herbs without it being a big issue. And everything else is right around here too, and it's beautiful because you know, I have flowers that I will be incorporating in there. There's a tree right here that you know, I can plant some things that like a little bit of part sun under this tree, such as my greens and some herbs and things like that. So that's my second point, is bring it up close to the house. I do the same thing with my compost pile. I did end up moving it, but for a while I had my compost pile right here. Now it's just a little bit further away, but I like to have that right by the vegetable garden because I like to seed things throughout the year. Anytime I pull something up, I'll seed something else there, and I like to have a little compost for that. Plus, I like to take my kitchen scraps, my food scraps from the kitchen, bring them out here and be able to just barefooted throw them right into my compost pile without having to wander too far to get there, because I like to do that, every few days. So that's my second tip, is bring everything close to the house.